Welcome to the bold analysis. There is a raging debate that is going on in this country, and this is the blatant defense of tribalism and cronyism under the guise of political compatibility. Ethnic composition of state appointments must be subjected to continuous scrutiny, because it seems we are clawing back from provisions of the 2010 Constitution that institutionalized and gave a legal requirement, or rather a legal framework, to look at regional balance in state appointments, or rather in public offices. And I want to believe the framers, the ideology behind it, was in a longer term try to address the winner-take-all that has been affecting this country for quite so long. And there is something I just want to say. In January, the Deputy President spoke about shareholders, those who had shares and those who don't have. Then, over the weekend in Nyandarua, he defended the number of Kikuyu community, people from Kikuyu community that have been absorbed in government. And yesterday again, while addressing UDA delegates, some UDA coordinators in Western Hotel, he still repeated the statement on they are going to give jobs to the UDA allied. Now, this, the shareholding is among the tribe and also the UDA allies. And someone has just provoked my thought. Kevin, when you think President William Ruto cannot call his deputy to order, despite of the fact that he knows very well that this is something that is very unhealthy for cohesion and unity of a country. There are some things that, while they can be perceived as politically right, but they should remain unwritten. 2010 Constitution introduced ethnic representation balance. And what that shows was that the law says that public establishments should not have more than a third of its staff from a single tribe. Can you, in every organization, public establishment that you work for, public, this is, and I think this needed to apply both the government side and also the private sector. So can you look around and ask yourself, did you, in where you work, maybe it is government office or it is that company, did it obey this law? Is it following this provision? Not more than a third should come from that one tribe. Can you look around and find out what it is? Former National Cohesion and Integration Commissioner, Professor Naituli, is warning the administration that we are playing with disaster. And if we continue glorifying this tribalism and cronyism thing, then we are making our elections be a matter of life and death, even the next election. And the jostle for other communities to take power will be more intense than never before. Because we've made it look like from jobs, even to resource allocation, even to development, it seems it's taking that angle. And I support that it is something that bipartisan talks team that is going on must also put on table the best way on how to address the winner take all. We must relook and tighten the loose ends of this law so that, apart from it being something good, but it's also a very good populist one that can help us have that discussion. The debate is been taken a notch higher by someone made this observation in the security sector being dominated by people from the Northeastern, saying defense CS Adan Duale, the DCA boss Mohammed Amin, and the now National Intelligence boss being proposed by President Ruto, Nordin Haji, Military Intelligence Chief Brigadier Abdikadir Buje, and also the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Nur Gabo. You know, I look at that and someone was, in fact, someone said to me, Kevin, can you analyze why this is happening? No, I'm just trying to find out. But if you have an idea about that, I don't know if that's a coincidence or something has chosen to, but we are looking for that. We will find out just a minute. Now, we are playing, or rather we are courting fire, and this thing has been used over time, and President Ruto has allowed his deputy to cannibalize the country and use this statement in public. I do believe sometimes if a mistake is done, maybe they are called to order and maybe they met and say, let's do this, let's make it this way. But Ruto has left the deputy. In fact, what is happening here is these things sometimes they happen, or these statements are made by Gachagua, and we think they're mistakes or they're just things that are just done by not knowing. But I may tend to look at it as if it's deliberate. It is designed to be that way. That Rigathi is the person that are going to say that, you know, because he's a deputy president. So that the other side, even though president will try to correct, but the information is out there. Remember, it is being used for some two reasons. One, Ruto knows very well that it is wrong and it's something that is against the principle of unity and even the cohesion of the country. But he chooses to do it because he chooses to let Rigathi run with that narrative, because Rigathi will want to project himself as Gema defender. In fact, if for Rigathi Gachagua to launch a presidential bid, he will have to come out of Ruto's shadow. If in any case they fall out, then we'll still carry the same narrative of, I worked with William Ruto and I was mistreated and so we came out. He will still think about carrying such a narrative. That's the reason why he's allowing Rigathi to go with it, to project himself as someone who is defending Gema, so that any member of Kikuyu community in William Ruto could be attributed to the defense of Rigathi Gachagua. But also, he also wants to portray a sense of belonging, that this government belongs to Gema. Number two, the other reason why he's allowed it is it is being used to entice political defectors, especially from the other regions. And this is targeting the Western Belt mostly. It is, if you've been told that for you to get a job, we are going to give a job to UDA and those who subscribe to the Hustler agenda. Yesterday I saw Eliud Obado, Migori governor, the former Migori governor, being received by Rigathi Gachagua during that Western Hotel meeting. And why? Quite a number of those who are defecting are being given some jobs here and there. So that by getting these jobs, they are thriving in the fact that they are also shareholders. So you've seen very ridiculous defections that have been going on. But it poses some risk. As Prof is saying, we are really courting danger here. And we should not entertain it, even though it's now going on. I've realized, I thought DP had stopped talking about it, but that's far from it. When that statement comes, or the narrative of us, UDA first, or people support William Ruto first comes, it normally cascades down to other offices. If a deputy president is saying that we are going to give jobs to those who supported William Ruto, or those who subscribe to William Ruto ideologies, then I wanted to reason on you going to an interview in a company where in the interview panel, the people in that interview panel come from probably the two regions, and they are also from the same political, they also have the same political ideology, then they will simply pick what Rigathi is saying. So this is something that does not work well, because it will hurt other sectors, especially when it's coming from the second highest office. If a deputy president is saying that, now how about a supervisor in a company? He will also employ the shareholders first. And the danger with that is that it worsens the ethnic distress. If there is something that we agreed that our politics was won on ideology, that's what the president said, that it was won on ideology of the Hustler agenda, it was not won on the tribal realignments. So we should not go that route. We are also creating untamed or rather uncontrollable public entitlement in the public service, where someone feels, I am entitled to this job, number one, not because I qualify, but I campaigned for William Ruto. That brings laxity, and that's why corruption is now sprouting. I can tell you here is what we are seeing in terms of that corruption, the two that we are seeing is just what we've seen. But even now there is another, I think there is another scandal about some exercise stamps, some tender that is going on. So what we need to say here is we need to be very sensitive on this, because we are creating a public service and we are already making it look like, okay, we have our way. But Ruto has allowed Rigathi to go with it. We are caught in fire. I wish we can correct this before it ends. Let's look at something interesting about why Rigathi is not going to Europe.